New year, as you always do.
Yeah, the working 28 consecutive hours is nothing compared to trying to find something to fill the void of 3 more shows, in essence.
It's true. So we've got a fun show planned. In fact, everything in the show was added at the last minute, so you got to tell me about
like
this
the
one.
last one that just sold out in 4 minutes.
Exactly, right. I know.
Okay, so I'm going to put this over here by you. So we've talked about the American Silver Eagle. It's going to sell out.
Right.
This was another painful conversation. It's the proof Silver Eagle. The government raised the price on this 20%.
Wow.
We priced this 2 weeks ago, anticipating the government's price. We should know better. Okay, we should know better, but we did not. And so, once again, after a long and tortured conversation, we decided, well, that's too bad.
Right.
This is what you shop here because you get what we guarantee you're going to get. That's why the coin show has been here for a quarter of a century. And so in that regard, for this proof American Silver Eagle, in our first day of issue, it's exclusive. Look, I could have made this price anything I wanted to make. We're going to do $3,196, and I'm going to hold the price at $199.95 for this edition. As you can see, we've already sold almost 1,600. Wow. So we're about half sold through. It's had one real presentation on the course of the day. So we're going to give you basically a full presentation right here. So we are also going to do ANACS. Now remember, we talked about the core. ANACS has never done a colorized core before.
Oh,
every
no
one
kidding.
they've ever had has been clear, just been a regular clear plastic. We have colorized the core for the very first time on an ANACS coin. And if you look, the core goes right up into the label. So you see that's the body of the eagle that's in the label itself that you're going to have within that. And so we have a colorized core ANACS, which we are launching for the very first time. That is, of course, 100% exclusive to us. That's one of the other things that we've done after being here for a quarter of a century, is we have established so many relationships that we have an incredible basket of coins that you literally, absolutely, positively can't get anywhere else. We bring absolute and complete exclusivity to the table so that, you get that there's that sense of relief when you know you got the best price.
True.
That sense of relief when you know that everybody pays the same price. Nobody wants to, this is just like a dust magnet over here, is what's happening. And so everybody pays the same price. There's something kind of egalitarian about that I think is very comforting as a collector, going, I know I got the best deal that I could possibly get. There's no doubt about that. And so that's what we're, I'm making that work.
I was looking for a mirror to check my makeup before the show.
Yeah, there you go. You can use this.
Why didn't you hand me this?
Yeah, I sometimes, if I'm shaving in the morning, I can get that, just get that in there pretty good. And that's, once again, a proof coin. So it's just like the congratulations coin that you saw, but this is the regular proof issue Eagle. Red oak presentation box included, $24.95. Now, do not confuse this with the mint state coin. That was the today's special value. The United States government, look, the proof coin is a special presentation coin. It is on the order of 100 times rarer by mintage than the mint state coin. And with the government raising the price on this 20%, here is my professional opinion. They're going to raise the price 20%. Coin collectors don't necessarily like that.
True.
They make these to order. You have what is absolutely a transitional coin, a coin that has to be in every collection because they're ending. Because, when they end the Silver Eagle, it's not just the mint state, all the Silver Eagles are changing. This is the last proof American Silver Eagle that'll be done with this design on it. So it is a transformational coin. It's a legacy coin. It's a coin that you absolutely, positively have to have. But because of this little price increase, even though I've held the price on this right here, I'm anticipating this could end up being one of the rarest Silver Eagles, proof Silver Eagles ever made by the United States government. And when stuff gets rare like that, stuff gets expensive like that. And we're going to see that with the next little batch of coins that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you something that is the greatest triumph of the United States Mint in the history of U.S. coin collecting for the collector. They've created an absolute overnight sensation. And this coin, it's not going to be an overnight sensation, but for the long haul, this is absolutely, positively going to be a coin that is going to be special because, once again, it is transformational. It is a transition coin. It is a legacy coin because after 2020, this goes away. Only 3,196. We sell out the proof first day of issue every single solitary year. And as you see, we are trucking towards 1,600, 1,700, 2,000 of these coins. Now understand, when we do this first day of issue, 3,196, I can't bring this, but once we sell that out, that's it. I can never bring this back again. 3,196 of these coins is all that will ever exist. There will be no other, a different label or something like that. This will be first day of issue. This will be the end of it. Now look at this fantastic colorized label. See how they have the clouds and the sky in there? There's the eagle that comes in there. Absolutely stunning design. And we are debuting this at the same time the mint is ending this design in the American Silver Eagle, and you have it in its, what amounts to its rarest format, which is going to be the proof American Silver Eagle, which is going to be the proof American Silver Eagle. Well, and the fact that you're getting it on FlexPay, it's important that we give you a little bit of an education as you're shopping here too, because I think today, for a lot of reasons, we're attracting a lot of new coin shoppers for the very first time, and we absolutely should. And what's interesting is, I know you've been learning a lot from Mike. Usually when I do a coin show with you, we've got maybe 1 or 2 coins where there's this kind of particular end of run story to tell. This is historic for a lot of different reasons. Every single coin in this next hour and a half is something that you should really sit up and take notice over, especially you can get FlexPay. Even if you've never shopped here, if you've never shopped, HSN, if you've never bought a coin in your life, if you've never thought about buying a coin, you can get this at home for less than $50. You get a 30-day return policy. You don't have to worry about it being the Wild West. I mean, everything about this is unique, is exclusive, is one of a kind, is one and done. It's collectible, it's desirable, it's limited. One of the other great things that ANACS brings to the table here is the fact that when we have these limited editions, each coin is individually numbered. We do a lot, look, I sell a lot of NGC coins, we sell a lot of PCGS, we just sold out an NGC coin. We sell PCGS coin, I had a PCGS pair sell out earlier, that we're going to do that. But they may do 1 of 2,000 or 1 of 3,000, but only ANACS, of the big 3 right here, will individually number every coin so you know where you stand in the limited edition. So now you have this proof American Silver Eagle, which sells for basically 4 times the price of a mint state coin. It's 100 times rarer by mintage than a mint state coin that's out there, which is what the today's special was that sold out, 12,299. This is 4 times rarer than that in terms of mintage, well, 100 times rarer according to mintage, 4 times rarer according to our first day of issue, yet it is still that transformational coin. It is the very last American Silver Eagle that will have that reverse on it that you see right there. And so that will be critically important. It will become even more important. It will become even more desirable and more highly sought after when the new coins are released in 2021 and everybody's going to want to back collect. And by then it's just too late because the United States government has already moved on. And that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to have a real shortage of proof coins coming out of the chute. I don't think they made that many. They raised the price pretty significantly. I think they made fewer because they mixed them up between congratulations, which is a little rarer than this. You have the congratulations eagle, you got the regular proof eagle. They're probably going to do an S mint later, so I think the W mint's going to be spectacularly rare this year, even though it should be a coin that should be double or triple or quadruple what it has been in prior years. And understand, proof is substantially different. It's substantially rare. It's substantially harder to get. But in terms of price, I mean, the HSN price of the mint state coin's $120. So in terms of the pricing of this and the fact that I held $199.95, next time you see this coin with the red oak box, it's going to be $229, $239, $249, something like that, because the box is still a $25 value. And a customer pick on its own. Oh, of course. I mean, you know, it's so interesting because I love doing these shows with Mike because I learn like you do, but more importantly, you do have to take action when you see something like this. And we call them opportunistic buys for a lot of different reasons. I mean, not only first day of issue, exclusive to Mike, exclusive first time that you're seeing that colorized core, first and last, as Ricky Bobby would say. Right. So it is the first and the last time that you're going to see not only that beautiful Walking Liberty, but of course that obverse
And you get it on FlexPay with that 30-day unconditional return policy. So I say why not, but I really would not wait because, Mike, I think you're right. Not only because the government raised the price, I think once
But we didn't.
But you didn't. But once the word kind of gets out, once the reality of the fact that it's not being done again, when it kind of hits everybody.
Yeah, it's supply and demand.
Right.
I mean, you don't understand it. This is a commodity in essence in that regard. If there's not enough of it, and I'm going to have the perfect example of that coming up. I'm about to show you a coin that was released from the United States government. The official release price from 2 months ago, not even 6 weeks ago, was $70.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to sell the balance of what we have for $9,000. So the price went from $70 to $9,000 in 6 weeks.
Wow.
Okay, that's what happens when people figure out what's going on.
Right.
Okay, and so when people figure out what's going on with this, because you know, a lot of dealers understand this. I don't think the collecting public understands that the end of a coin series is so incredibly significant. That the end of a coin series is so phenomenally collectible. Let me give you an idea. The Indian head penny transitioned out in 1909. That was the transition year, and they started then the 1909 in Lincoln cent in the same year. And for all I know, they may actually, I don't know, may make the new design in 2020. So it's a pure transition year. So there's a 1909 Indian head cent and a 1909 Lincoln cent. The old one, the 1909 Indian head cent, is worth far more than the Lincoln cent because they did all the new ones. The old one was the one that they didn't do. So a 1908 Indian head cent's about $8. 1909 Indian head cent's about $65. Okay, and that's like in just circulated condition. 1909 Lincoln cent's about $8. But understand that transition coin is incredibly important, and that's what this is. Like I said, they have not announced it. It would not surprise me if the United States government actually starts releasing the new design. And this year, who knows? I mean, you know, I don't even know if they're allowed. I mean, that's pure speculation on my part. I'm just, that's a guessing game. Is what that is. I don't even know what the design is. Nobody does. You know, so that's not the possibility. But understand the reality is it doesn't matter. Even if it's not till 2021, this coin is spectacular. If it is in 2020, this coin is off the charts. Then this coin is a rock star. It goes from being the warm-up band to being, you know, being the headliner. There's absolutely positively no doubt about that, because then it'll be functionally limited by the fact that they're making the new coin as well.
Well, and about 2/3 of the quantity already spoken for. I mean, you know. And
understand, we just debuted this today.
Today.
Okay, this is like the third full airing is all that we have.
That's wild. And remember, so the quantity that we have left, and you can see first day of issue is that's it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, and I say this quite often when I do shows with Mike, it's not like other categories that I have here where we can say, oh, don't worry, we'll make more. There's a wait list, we can back order. Yeah. We don't
because I don't get to make these. I don't get to manufacture these. They frown on that.
They do.
Like I said, I've said this before, I would not rock that orange jumpsuit. Orange is just not my color, okay? It's just 100% not true. Man. So I will rely on the United States government to provide the coins
play
for
by
me.
The rules.
That's right, 100%. Well, I'm a rule guy anyway.
That's true.
So, you know, that's just the fact of the matter.
Man.
And so now what's happening is people are going, now I get it.
Right.
Okay, last year of issues are cool. Like in the Liberty nickel, the first year of issue, 1883, in brilliant uncirculated condition, the Liberty V nickel, the very first year, I could sell it to you for $80.
Okay.
The last year of issue, 1913, I can sell you that in brilliant uncirculated for about $7.3 million. Okay? So, I mean, you know, so lasts can be really important.
Yes,
it can be way more important than firsts, in all honesty. And so you get those types, the St. Gaudens, the 1907 St. Gaudens. I mean, you know, the high relief St. Gaudens, yeah, it's about $150,000 or $160,000 coin. But the last year of the St. Gaudens, 1933, if one came to market today, it'd bring 30 to 40 million, something like that. So firsts are important, lasts are important, and sometimes lasts are more important. This may well be one of those cases. I think it's going to be absolutely, truly spectacular. As you can see, 1,850 already gone. 1,850 already gone. With everybody on the phone, I think we're closer to 2,000. Remember, only 3,196. And that's not for this show or this visit. That is all that there ever will be in perpetuity. And that is a perfect shot of what a proof American Silver Eagle looks like. It is absolutely ethereal. It is stunning. And remember, the very last year that you're going to see this design, the very first year that you see the colorized core exclusive to us here at HSN. Of course, first day of issue is exclusive to us. Individually numbering, first day of issue exclusive to us. With the Red Oak presentation box, it ticks every single box of collectability. You 100% need to add this to your collection.
You do. Now, here's the only problem, and I almost feel bad for the people who are watching this on the internet after this show. You know what I'm saying? Because actually, Mike sells more coins when he's not on the air. From people who tape the shows, go back and watch the rebroadcast, watch it on hsn.com. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. If you are wise, I would definitely, I hope you're considering, but more importantly, I hope you're making that purchase now.
Yes.
And I'll leave it at that because
coins, particularly on this day when we do this New Year's Eve day, you really